Good afternoon. I am Tracy Spence with your newscast. This newscast is brought to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join, believe in. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. And Supreme Power Homes, call them at 800-493-9002. Now for the news in details. Mayor of Montego Bay, Councillor Leroy Williams, is urging citizens to take proactive steps to prepare for and mitigate the impact of natural disasters, including flooding. Addressing the St. James Municipal Corporation's monthly meeting at the Montego Bay Cultural Center yesterday, Williams noted that Jamaica is prone to experiencing specific natural hazards consequent on its location in the northwestern Caribbean. In this regard, he said Jamaicans must play their part in adhering to best practices and taking the necessary precautions to protect their communities. Referencing data from the Economic Commission on Latin America and the Caribbean ECLAC, which indicated that between 1990 and 2017, some 408 natural disasters affected the Caribbean region. Williams said Jamaica is fortunate to have escaped the onslaught of a major event in recent years. Jamaica's Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says he has received a firm commitment from church leaders to continuously play their part in combating the COVID-19 challenge. The affirmation came out of a second meeting held with the members of the Christian church community on Thursday. Represented at the meeting were leaders of the major denominations, including Seventh-day Adventist, Pentecostal, and the Church of God. Dr. Tufton noted that for the most part, the measures put in place by the government have helped to curb the spread of the virus, but was quick to point out the side effects that COVID fatigue was having on the population, especially the vulnerable. For its part, the church leaders commended the government for its efforts and also agreed to continue to provide support to the government of Jamaica by firstly continuing to adhere to all the protocols, including those established for religious services, and to offer counseling to its members in the wider community who may be suffering from COVID fatigue. The church leaders, and by extension the membership, was also invited to join the ministry's Community Mental Health Response Program. The meeting, which was held virtually, was also used to update the church community on the latest COVID-19 data and the possible trends going into the Christmas season. Meanwhile, Jamaica's Agriculture Ministry has fast-tracked the provision of resources to cushion the economic stress heaped on farmers across the island following a spell of heavy rains in recent times. More than $600 million has been earmarked to support farmers who were hit hard by the flood rains, causing millions of dollars in crop and equipment damage. Floyd Green, the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and Member of Parliament for West St. Thomas, James Robertson, toured a number of farms flooded during the heavy rains to reassure farmers that financial and physical help is imminent. The island is expecting more showers this weekend, but Green told journalists that the work has to go on to minimize disaster. Green described the impact of the rain on farmers across the island as devastating. He said that all crop types were affected, which was evident during the tour of Western St. Thomas yesterday. In sports this afternoon, New Zealand Cricket NZC, the governing body for the sport in the country, said yesterday that the third and final round of COVID-19 tests which West Indies players took this week have all returned negative. This will allow players and the support staff greater freedom of movement to train and prepare for their series of 3 2020 internationals and the 2 tests against the Black Caps, and the ability to freely leave the isolation facility and mix with the general population. There is no indication that any of the members of the squad left or had contact with anyone outside of the managed isolation facility in which they have been confined since arriving in the country almost 2 weeks ago. And that is it for the news. This newscast came to you courtesy of BioLife Energy Systems. Come join the living. Call them at 800-875-5433. USA Credit Repair, the key to beautiful credit. You may call them at 800-786-1330. Cruising with the Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration, weekdays 8:30 a.m., on Saturdays 7 p.m. and 12 noon on Sundays. And Supreme Power Homes, call them at 800-493-9002. On behalf of the news and production team, I am Tracy Spence. To have a good afternoon.